So when I was 17, I spent my summer vacation at pre-med camp. It was this special summer program in Washington, D.C., specifically designed for young wannabe doctors, or in my case, young had-to-be doctors. Now, this is a very competitive program, like not that many people got taken, because we weren't gonna be doing typical teenager-y things. We were gonna be observing surgeries and dissecting real human cadavers. So in order to get in, you had to be extra smart and extra responsible, like me. So as I flew to DC, I was super curious to see who else they could possibly find that was as brilliant and capable of being a doctor as I was. But when I got to the dorm, I finally met my peer group. It was pretty small, only 9 girls, 3 boys, and it was mostly non-Asian, which was a little surprising. And now, obviously, everyone was like super smart and talented and top of their classes, blah, blah, blah. But the one person in the group who impressed me the most was Kelly Gonzalez, AKA Speedy. And for the record, she gave herself that nickname. Now, I thought Speedy was the shit because not only was she brilliant enough to get into this program, but she also drank and went to parties. She had a boyfriend. She had sex with that boyfriend. She was my freaking hero. So when Speedy decided that she was gonna pierce all of our ears, like the upper cartilage part, I was totally on board. I mean, she said she had done it before, and like, we were all basically doctors already. We had already examined real human hearts. We could handle some freaking ear cartilage, okay? So everyone in my group was totally on board. So we went out to Claire's boutique and got a bunch of little ear studs. And then we went to CVS to get our medical supplies. Needles, obviously. Alcohol wipes and a lighter to sanitize the needles. Gauze and Band-Aids, just in case. And apples, because according to Speedy, apples had the best texture for catching the needle on the other side of the ear, which seemed totally logical to me. So we gathered up all of our materials and went back to the dorm, upstairs to the common room where the kitchen was. But while we were prepping our supplies, Speedy admitted that it had kind of been a while since she had done this. So the first one was gonna be a little tricky. And then when she followed up with, who wants to go first? No one said shit. But like, I felt bad because Speedy was just sitting there on the ground with a needle and an apple chunk. So I thought, how bad could this be? Like really? Like really? So I stepped up. I numbed my ear with some ice. I sat down next to Speedy and took a nice soothing breath as Speedy shoved a sewing needle through my ear. And it hurt like a bitch. But you guys, I have to admit, it was the least painful moment of the entire procedure. You see, the needle got stuck in the apple, so Speedy had to keep tugging at the hole. So that was fun. And then she had to simultaneously pull out the needle while pushing in the earring. And she admitted that that was the one thing that she had yet to master. So that took like 20 minutes. It was just a bloody mess. But eventually, after the bloodshed was all done and the earring was properly in place, it looked pretty freaking badass. So even though the operation was not the smoothest, everyone else still wanted to get their ears pierced. So one by one, all of the other pre-med kids got their ears pierced. And don't worry, we used fresh needles for everyone. We weren't stupid, we knew about AIDS. So then when camp was over, we all got to go home with some badass ear piercings. But within a few days, mine started to ooze white pus and would bleed every time I would rotate the ear in the earring. So my friends and my mom kept saying, like, maybe you should take it out. Maybe you should take it out. But, like, they weren't doctors. My mom is married to a doctor and therefore thinks she's a doctor, but she's definitely not a doctor. And my friends didn't even like science class, so why would I listen to them? So I just left the earring in, but it got worse, you guys. The pus like crusted over and turned into this cauliflower-shaped growth on my ear. Now, obviously, you didn't have to be a doctor to know that it was clearly infected, but it took me forever to come to that conclusion. It wasn't until I chopped my hair short and didn't have anything to cover my cauliflower ear that I decided that maybe I should just take it out. So I finally took it out and the infection went away and my ear went back to normal. Now, I don't know if Speedy ever became a doctor or not, but I can proudly say that I have actually saved many, many lives by not becoming a doctor.